All right, 112 folks. I wanted to talk about the doc review for Unit 7 here. It is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. It's part of the March on Washington. It's part of about the renewal of the civil rights movement in such a way. And to me, this is part of a huge climax of what's going on, is getting this element, getting this group of people together right there in Washington, D.C., right there at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial, literally right there in the shadow of Abraham Lincoln in this huge statue. You know, this is part of his legacy, the fact that this group of people, this thousands upon thousands of African Americans can gather here at this particular point and celebrate the accomplishment, celebrate the drive to civil rights. And what I want you to do is both the speech, video of the speech, which is national news footage, as well as the transcript are posted for you to look at. I want you to look at the speech. I want you to watch the video. I want you to pay attention. And here's the thing, I don't want you just to listen. I want you to pay attention as they take and as they pan around the crowd, because I want you to see how they're dressed, because an important part of history is culture. Okay, I want you to see how they're dressed, how they're behaving, because it's not just black folks. It is white folks. It is Hispanic folks. There is a mixture of people together, both old and young, in a variety of attires. But I want you to see. This is Washington, D.C. in the summer, and yet you will find them in suits. You will find them in hats. You will find them dressed in a way that, well, we don't largely dress anymore. And I think that's an important part of what's going on. But then I also want you to pay attention as you look, because you're going to see a variety of backgrounds of people, a variety of cultural beliefs of people, and he's speaking to them all. He's a unifying influence. And he's going to tap in to the historical culture of the nation and say, hey, listen, this is why we're here. This is why we're talking. And then I want you to pay attention to his speaking style as well, because he's a reverend, folks. He's a good Southern Baptist reverend. And it's interesting because he starts off, and you could see that the size of this crowd is imposing even to him. The size of this crowd, he starts off kind of quiet. And then what he will do is he'll feel the spirit. He'll feel their encouragement. And then where he starts off this way, then he will start to get in, and he'll start to preach, and he'll start to get the feeling, and he'll start to get the Lord in him. And then what he'll do is, boom, is he will just go full, boom, Southern gospel at that particular point. And he is no longer talking at the people. He's talking to the people. He is preaching to the people, and he is in full bloom at that particular point, and he is pulling the audience with them. And the thing is, this is huge. This is dynamic, because he's not just talking to a small group of people, but he's trying to point out that this is a chance for change. This is a chance for a difference, and that we've already come so far, but he has a dream of going so much farther. And this is huge, folks. It's huge in a way that most of us don't think about. You look at me and you say, okay, well, here's an old white man. And yeah, admittedly, I'm an old white man. But some of you know and some of you don't, that I come from quite a mixed family. I have several brothers and sisters. When my mom was, first married, when she ended up getting divorced when I was 2, and she got remarried. She married a Hispanic gentleman in 1964, which is groundbreaking. So my first 2 sisters and brother look a lot like this, right? Well, my next 2 sisters and 2 brothers are Hispanic. And a lot of my tias and tios, a lot of my aunts and uncles, I have a mixture from both sides, so I have a lot of heritage in my family. And so it's a very mixed background. I thought everybody's was that way. And the thing is this is what Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream is. This is what the doctor's dream is. I raised my kids, and they never knew any difference. They thought everybody's as they thought everybody's, Tata was just like my father was, and it was a mixture of things along the way. So when it comes to my kids, they just never really paid attention to any of that kind of stuff along the way. So when my oldest son got married, he married a nice African American woman, and they have two kids. And so my two granddaughters are mixed. And my son told me at one particular point, we might have addressed this, we might not, but he said, we're going to raise them black. And I said, okay, but they're mixed. He said, yeah, but here's the thing. People see them and they see two black little girls and they treat them that way. And I want my kids to be equipped. I want my kids to understand. I want them to have the best, but I want them to be able to deal with attitudes along the way. And so it's been an interesting thing for me as an old white guy to kind of move along on that spectrum and realize that I am at some points culturally moribund. That I didn't realize some of the differences along the way. It was funny. Last summer, I had my granddaughters for a couple of weeks myself, and I got to learn how to do Afro puffs in a little girl's hair. Again, looking at my hair, you can figure I probably never done Afro puffs before, but this is part of what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is talking about in his speech. He's saying, listen, this should be the expectation that white, black, blue, green, purple, old, young, it shouldn't matter that this Declaration of Independence, this guarantee of equality should be something that we should just expect, should be striving, should just be the standard. And so this is what he's addressing in this speech about how far we've come, but also how far we need to go. And if you look and you pay attention and you do a little bit of research, I challenge most of you to get online and log in and look up the Edmund Pettus Bridge, Pettus. And it's about the civil rights. It's about the crossing of the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday, because this is one of the things he's addressing is this heritage of racism, and it's hugely important. And this is part of his approach. So make sure that you definitely go ahead and get this turned in on time, because it's going to be due pretty quick. But definitely go ahead and take a look and immerse yourself a little bit in what this document, the speech is talking about. All right, thank you.